polygon had, what was the sum of the exterior angles? Anybody remember? Right. The sum of the exterior angles, and this is important, one per vertex of a polygon regardless of the number of sides. Is always 360. That was one of your bonus questions. Some of you all knew that. Whether you had an octagon, a pentagon, a hexagon, a quadrilateral, a triangle, sum of the exterior angles, one per vertex, is always 360. Which I think is quite amazing when you think that the sum of the inside grows without bound as the number of sides grow. The exterior always stay the same. Okay. So we've got, here's a vertex, there's one, this is an outside angle. Here's a vertex, this is an outside angle. Here's a vertex, this is an outside angle. Here's a vertex, this is an outside angle. It's not inside the figure. Now, what is the relationship? This is really important. You need to write this down. What is the relationship, you won't find this in your book, between one outside and one inside angle? So I heard two answers. I heard supplementary, and I heard 180. Is supplementary, and supplementary means what? Add to 180. Here's a little bird serenading us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. That means the answer to question 2 in your homework was? Yes. Did you have to do any work? No. All right. So I'm going to do a summary here. All right? What we know so far. Sum of interior angles. N minus 2 times 180. Sum of exterior angles. What is it? 360. And then one interior and exterior angle and one exterior angle are what? Supplementary. All right, it's this one right here, not the inside, but the outside, that allows us to find the number of sides. Now, this may seem silly, but when you start your homework, it may not be obvious. Are you aware that the number of sides is equal to the number of angles? Yes? Okay. That's another important piece of information you need to know. So if I tell you that the measure of the exterior angle of a regular polygon is, I don't know, 100? I'm not sure that works. Let's say 72. Find the number of sides. Now, this number of sides is the same thing as the what? Number of what? Okay. So, we do not know the number of sides. N equals number of sides. Now, what do we know about, which is the same thing as the number of angles, correct? What do we know about regular? What does regular mean? All angles are what? Equal. So if the measure of the exterior angle is 72, what does that mean about every exterior angle? 72. Now that doesn't mean it's a quadrilateral, it's not. So what do we know about all those 72s? What do they sum to? 360. So if we take the number of angles times the degree of each angle, does it make sense that it should equal the total degrees? Number of angles times the degree of each angle equals total degrees. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah, sorry. How are we going to solve this? Nick, how are you going to solve that? It is being multiplied. How do we undo multiply? Divide by 72. So what is 360 divided by 72? 5. Okay, how many sides is that figure? 5. What's it called? Pentagon. Okay. Maybe I can give you a better formula. Number of angles times measure, U-R-E, measure outside angle equals 360. And maybe to make this a little bit better, we want to say number of sides, because the number of sides is the same thing as what? Number of angles. This is how you find number of sides of a polygon. It's all about the what? Outside angle. That's one of the most important words that you're going to write down there. Outside angle. All right, so we're going to do some problems with this. All right, here we go. You got it? Okay, these notes are important so that when you go home, you've got something to look at. I will also put these notes online. You can always refer back to the video notes. If you like to listen, then you can always take the notes at home. All right, so here's what it looks like. How many sides? So important to pay attention to what's being asked. How many sides does a polygon have if the sum of its angles measures 2,160 degrees? Okay. So, what have I been given? Inside or outside? Sum. Inside. How do I find inside sum? What's the formula? N minus 2 times what? 180. And what are they telling me this equals? What does this equal? 2160. Why did I set those equal to each other? Is this the sum of the inside? And is this the sum of the inside? What do you want to do? How are you going to solve this? Where do you want to get started, Brittany? See? Okay, because this b is being multiplied, we definitely could divide by 180. Another option is to distribute first. So I need to know what is 2160 divided by 180? 12? Okay, so now what are we going to do? Add 2. How many sides does it have? 14. So here we were given sum of inside. So we use the sum of the inside. Okay, how many sides? Again, we're looking for sides. How many sides does an equiangular, what does that mean? Equiangular. All angles are equal, meaning it's, well, regular means equal angles and equal sides, and just because it has equal angles doesn't guarantee equal sides. If each interior angle measures 160 degrees, is there any way we know the sum of all those angles? Each angle is 160. Is there any way we can figure out the sum? What do we need to know? Yeah, we got to know the number of sides. Do we know the number of sides? No. All right, so here's where my picture is going to come in. They have given us a what? Inside angle, correct? Yes? And this inside angle is 160. Can I get the outside angle based on my inside angle? Because what's the relationship? Let's go back a minute. What's the relationship between an inside angle? I know it's somewhere up here. Yes, the relationship between one outside and one inside is supplementary. So how do I get over here? Right. Outside angle is equal to 180 minus 160, which is equal to what? 20. So this is 20 degrees. That means every outside angle is 20 degrees. Now, I am dealing in outside angles. So now I'm going to have to say n times the outside angle equals 360. Because if I have, if each, and this is measure, if I know that the measure of each one of those angles is 20 degrees, and I have n of them, they must sum to 360. Why didn't we set this up here equal to 360? Why didn't we say n minus 2 times 180 equals 360? What is n minus 2 times 180? It's the sum of the interior, correct. All right, how do I solve this equation, Samantha? How's it connected? So how do we disconnect? There you go. We're going to divide both sides by 20, and n is equal to what? 18 sides. Carlin, I'll take your phone. Unless you'd prefer to go to the office. Okay. After school? Okay. Let's try another one. How many sides does a polygon have if the what? Sum of the interior. What do we start with? N minus 2 times 180. And what does that equal to? What did they tell us? 2,880. Okay, they're telling us the sum of the interior, which means we have to use the sum of the interior formula. Jennifer, what's my first step now? We're going to divide by 180. And what would that be? How much? 16? Okay. Then what do we do, Leslie? So how many sides does this have? 18 sides. Okay. What if I said, how many sides does a regular polygon have if its exterior angle measures 9 degrees? What do you think we're going to do? So we're going to say n times 9 degrees is equal to the total of 360. So in order to solve that, we're going to divide by 9. What is n? 40 sides. Okay, how would this have differed if I had said, how many sides does a regular, bless you, polygon have if its interior angle measures 171 degrees? How does this get started differently? N minus 2 times 180 is the sum. Do I have the sum? I only have what? 1. So what's the relationship between an inside angle? Supplementary. So if this is 171, how do I get outside? So we'll say 180 minus 171 is what? So that's 9 degrees. What I've done now is I've done the same problem. Instead of giving you the exterior angle, which you need, I've given you something that you have to do a two-step thinking process. So now we'll say n times 9 degrees equals 360. And we solve like above. And that still will be 40.
Do you have to show like the n times 9 equals 360, or can you just do 360 divided by 9?
You could do 360 divided by n. All right, how are we going to find x? Outside, 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 inside. What doesn't fit? Inside. How do we go from inside to outside? Supplementary. Now how do I find x? 72 plus 45 plus 60 plus 36 plus x. What is that supposed to equal? 360, because they're all outside angles. I need to know, what is the sum of all those angles? X plus what equals 360? $172? Mm-hmm. So what's 360 minus 172? $188? Okay, so I wrote a bad problem. Can you really have an angle that's 188 degrees?
No, actually, when you add them all together, it's 213. Yeah.
Okay, 213. What's 360 minus 213? Okay, that's better. Okay, what are you going to do if they're x's? What's the equation you're going to write? MJ? Out, out, out. So what are we going to do? 3x minus 5 plus 2x plus 1 plus x minus 2 equals what? 360. So you're going to have 3, 4, 5, 6x. Then we've got negative 5, positive 1, negative 4, negative 5, minus 6. All right, what are we going to do next, Travis? So 6x equals 366. What are we going to do next, Caitlin? So we're going to get 91, I think. 61? Just kidding. I can't divide. All right, so does that clarify like 30 and 31 now from your homework? You with me? All right. So we're going to go to this next one. Now we're going to focus in on, there's a 30, 60, 90. How do you find perimeter? Sum of all the sides. Okay. So it's all about parallelograms. New investigation. I didn't do a new investigation. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at let's see. All right, we've got a parallelogram. That means that this is parallel to this. And did you know that, by the way, what a parallelogram was? Okay, so let's define that. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral. What does that tell you already about it? 4 sides. With both, not just one, both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Any questions there? Quadrilateral means 4-sided figures, both pairs of opposite sides parallel. Okay, so I'm going to put a hold on this right now. And what I want you to do is I want you to get out a sheet of paper. I want you to get out some patty paper. What? Would you get out a sheet of paper and get out some patty paper? Please. I'm not going to answer it in case you didn't notice. I know. So I need your homework passed to the center. You need a sheet of patty paper. Oh, my patty paper's gone. Where's this, my patty paper? Anybody need a sheet of patty paper? I did, and nobody asked me any questions. Yeah, I said, any questions on the homework? And Devin asked for 30 and 31, and we couldn't do them because we needed this. And then I said, any more questions? And nobody said anything. You weren't here. All right, anybody else need patty paper? All right, pass your homework to the center. You need a straight edge also.
No, it wasn't anything serious. It was probably just like, look.
Any other homework? You need a straight edge also. Pardon? Are we out? Where did the patty paper go? There it is. Over there on the desk. By Samantha.
You're a horrible person. He does. Wait, you didn't give me patty paper?
Oh, I use that in calc. Our Play-Doh investigations are coming up. No, calculus. We play with Play-Doh in calc. Okay. So anybody else need patty papers here? All right. So you have a ruler, correct? Right. I want you to draw, and you have to do it really, really, really well. What is your paper full of? What kind of lines?
Horizontal.
Besides being horizontal, what's another name? Okay. Do you agree? Do you agree that your paper is filled with parallel lines? Yes or no? You only need one sheet. They should be parallel, yeah. So we're going to see in a minute. So I want you to use, and this is really important that you do this very well. So I want you to very carefully trace some of your two lines. Hopefully you don't do it real close together because it'll be harder. The farther apart, the better. Okay? So get your parallel lines drawn. Okay. Okay. So if you're having a difficult time, another way to get parallel lines is to hold your ruler down, draw one side, and then a line on the other side. But then if you do that, then everybody's things are going to be the same, and I didn't want them to be the same. All right. So, no, they have to be parallel, or this doesn't work. Okay? So if you were able to do a nice job on your lined notebook paper, that's great. If you had to do both sides of your ruler, then you're on hold. For those who use their notebook paper, you're going to take your ruler now, and you are going to draw on each side of your ruler so that you form a parallelogram. Okay? So this is going to be one vertex, this is another vertex, this is another one, and this is another one. We'll call it P-A-R-A. For those people who use their ruler, my suggestion is that you borrow your neighbor's ruler and you draw in your parallel sides so that everybody's different. Okay. Everybody have their parallelogram? Okay. MJ asked a question. MJ, what was your question? Are opposite sides congruent? So you are going to trace PA onto patty paper, and you are going to check it with what? AR. You are going to trace RA, and you're going to compare it with AP. And then you're going to write down your conclusion.
I'm confused.
Opposite sides. Opposite sides. Trace one opposite side compared to the other. Then do it with the other one. When you finish that, I want you to check opposite angles. I want you to trace angle P compared to angle R. Trace angle A compared to, oh, we can't have two A's. P-A-R, para, we can't, L, sorry. So, then I want you to tell me, what did you discover about opposite angles? Yes, on that sheet of paper, I want you to tell me, what did you discover about opposite sides? I want you to tell me what you discovered about opposite angles. Write it. Write it. This is an investigation. Write it. I'm hoping it's a parallelogram, yeah. So now you got to start tracing. Opposite sides. You're going to attach your patty paper so that I can see that you truly did do this. What did you discover about opposite angles? What are? They are? I'm talking about PR. That's opposite. Those are consecutive. Whatever relationship you see with opposite sides, whatever relationship you see with opposite angles. Please label whatever angles. If you traced P, label it P on your patty paper. If you traced L, label it L on your patty paper so I know that what you did. P and R, L and A. If you're talking PA, that's consecutive, meaning next to each other. So I am removing A36 from your homework. Now, I'm not finished. Once you finish this, now you're going to draw in the diagonals. You're going to connect P to R very carefully. You're going to connect A to L very carefully. And let's name this point in the center E. Using your patty paper, I want you to compare PE to RE. I want you to compare LE to AE. Tell me what relationship you see. Write a sentence. I don't know. You looked at opposite sides, so one statement should involve opposite sides. You compared opposite angles, so you should have a statement about opposite angles. Oh, that's a parallelogram. All right. So with your patty paper, I want to know what is the relationship of PE and RE, AE and LE, and you need to summarize that. And then you need to put parallelogram investigation at the top, staple your patty paper, and turn it in before you go.